Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around to talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. My name's Bryan Hanes, and we have some great stuff to go over today, so let's jump straight into the video. Beforehand, though, I just want to let you guys know we are getting really close to 700 subscribers, so if you're not already, make sure you go down, hit subscribe right now, means the world, and it'll make sure you don't miss a single video here and any crazy important updates we have in the future. But with that being said, let's jump straight into the video. Starting off, we were talking about Goff. So, we won Monday night against the Buccaneers, but there was obviously not as much of an offensive performance as probably fans would have liked, but obviously Goff didn't think it was his good best performance either. Now, we still were able to put up a good amount of points and win the game decisively, but offensively, we just didn't look as confident and as rolling as normally we are. And it kind of felt like the defense, despite the injuries, kind of had to step up and make some big plays to help our offense, which was kind of interesting. And Goff was incredibly impressed with the Lions defense Monday night, noting that it is really awesome to see guys like that maybe getting their first opportunities, which some of these guys were getting their first opportunities to play in the NFL, and they played hard and that they wanted something that badly. It really gave the offense a lot more kind of hype going in, seeing that the defense, despite being banged up, was still fighting that hard. Goff was also very happy with Gibbs' performance, saying he was waiting for Gibbs to have a big night, and Monday night was that night. However, for all the good that came out of that game, Goff seemed really unsatisfied with his performance overall and the offense's performance. He said, quote, offensively, tonight was not to our standard, end quote. Goff only had a 69 completion rating with one touchdown and an interception for 241 yards, giving himself a 91.3 quarterback rating, but we all know that's not what Goff normally likes to do. Against the Chiefs, he had a 118 rating. That's a game we lost. And against the Bengals, he had a 153 quarterback rating, according to Pro Football Focus. And there are a lot of things to fix, according to the quarterback, but it couldn't have happened at a better time. The Lions are going into the bye week, which gives them plenty of time to get players back to recover, to come back healthy, as well as time for the offense to fix those little kinks that Goff said they could have done without on Monday night. I think now you guys are going to say, well, offensively looked great. I think Jahmyr Gibbs running for a 78-yard touchdown was honestly what made us look better than we overall performed as a unit. Gibbs popped off. Gibbs had an excellent individual performance, but I think as a unit we could have been a lot better. Goff also went to say that our team shows up in prime time, quote for quote. Yeah, and I love it. Goff mentioned they don't win. They don't win them all, but they definitely play like it's a primetime game when it happens. They have this like weird switch that flips. The biggest thing that stood out to me this game is the fact that Khalif Raymond, our return man, our like third or fourth guy listed on the depth chart, was the only other receiver besides St. Brown to record a catch. Now that doesn't mean there were no other offensive players recording catches, but as a wide receiver, Khalif Raymond was the only other one. J-Mo didn't have any catches. Tesla didn't have any catches. And to me, that was kind of odd. J-Mo getting more involved needs to happen a little more, and we'll talk about that at the end of the video. But it was just kind of odd that Raymond was the only other receiver getting catches here. Our tight ends were fine as well. They did okay, but I think in the passing game, this just wasn't what Goff wants out of his passing offense, and it's clear to show. But that's what he said about that. I don't think we have anything crazy to worry about because, like I said, we're going into this bye week and we're gonna have some guys coming back. I think it's also going to give us time to kind of perfect what was going wrong in that game passing wise. But Gibbs did a great job, and I think the offense overall did fine. Just could have been better, and I think Goff was right about that. You guys, let me know what you think. It's taking us to our second topic, talking about Calvin Shepard. Now, is he an upgrade from Aaron Glenn? There's been a lot of discussion, especially after how well our defense performed in the last game with the injuries that were going on, that Shepard is more of a better coach. The Detroit Lions continue to produce solid results on defense with the first-year man, Calvin Shepard, the team's former linebackers coach, calling the shots from the sideline. Now, what I liked about hiring Calvin Shepard and what got me excited about him is that it was an inside hire, right? Aaron Glenn said, this is the guy. This is our guy. Hired internally from a positions coach who already is well equipped and knows the guys on the team well. So he's already kind of a player's coach. And now we're putting him into a position where he can take what he's seen from kind of this outside bubble and really apply it in a game-to-game basis. And what's remarkable is that Shepard has guided a unit plagued by injuries and a Brian Branch suspension to some of its most complete performances of the season. The Lions' defensive dominance was on full display in their 24-9 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football, despite being without their entire week one secondary. Quarterbacks Arnold, DJ Reed, plus Branch, and fellow safety Kirby Joseph. Detroit's defense executed extremely well and at a high level. Now, we already know this. We've talked about it 100 times. So, what's the other kind of evidence going into why he's better? Well, Amik Robertson and Rocky Sin started at cornerback in place of Arnold and Reed, and Thomas Harper and Eric Hallett filled in at safety, and they all had great things to say about Kelvin Shepherd and his performance in this game. Robertson said, quote, "We all hear the noise," right? Robertson said after Detroit's win over the Buccaneers Monday, but he continued to say, quote, "Secondary, whatever, whatever. But those guys went out there and they played their hearts out, and I had no doubt in them. I just wanted them to let's go out there and show everybody instead of talking about it." And then that's what I felt like everyone did tonight. So the players were even saying like Shepard knew what the challenge that was coming, but they didn't ever like think of it as a backup situation, right? Career reserves Arthur Mollett and Nick Whiteside picked up the slack as well, logging heavy snaps and delivering game-changing plays. Mollett, who has been on the Detroit's practice squad earlier this season, finished with 5 tackles, a pass defended, and a key interception of Baker Mayfield, while Whiteside, who entered the night with just 15 career defensive snaps, came up big with 2 tackles and 3 pass breakups, including a timely end zone deflection of a Baker Mayfield pass intended for rookie Emeka Egbuka late in the fourth quarter. Together, they helped really just slow down this Buccaneers offense, which has been rolling, and they just kind of were like, no, like it stops here. And it was kind of odd that of all the defenses to do it, it was our backup defense. Mayfield, who entered the game with just completing 66.2% of his passes and averaging over 256 yards per contest, was limited to 228 yards and 1 touchdown on just 56% passing. There were some really good defended balls in this game. Both corners were playing crazy. Mollett went to say there was no drop off in the secondary. He just joined the organization 2 weeks ago, but said to the Athletic post game, quote, "We're all professional athletes. We all hold each other accountable. We know what we have and we know what we're capable of. Obviously, everyone else doesn't. We're in the room every day, seeing what we're doing. We're practicing with each other every day, and we trusted each other. And obviously, it showed today." That was him talking about the game after the game, and I like what he says there. It's not like because these guys are out, all of a sudden our secondary is worse. We're still NFL athletes. We are still ready to go and do our jobs. And they did. It's the next man up mentality. You go and you do your role, you do your job. And if you do it super well enough, we're going to win a game. And that's all they did. And that's what they continued to do throughout the entire contest. And that's what gets me fired up is when guys are like that are like, no, it's all the same. It's kind of like Jack Gordy, in March Madness, he played for Oakland, and he was like, "We're not a Cinderella story." Yeah, I mean, if you're making it to the tournament, you deserve to be there. Same thing here. If you're in the NFL, I think you deserve to be there. Meanwhile, linebackers Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes stuffed the stat sheet, combining 13 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 2 passes defended, and 2 quarterback hits. Their relentless play both earned linebackers game balls, and Barnes made sure to credit the man leading the defense. I mean, it's kind of clear to see the linebackers coach has the linebackers playing at an elite level. I'd hope so, especially when we got talented guys like Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes going crazy. It was kind of a quieter game for Alex Anzalone, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll get his later. Derek Barnes, after the game, quote, said, "This really goes to Shep, man. He put us, the defense, in a great position to go out and make plays. Great plan, hell of a coach." Robertson then expressed, "Even though he's young, we believe in him. We believe in him to put us in the right position, and that's what I feel like he did tonight. And he had no doubt in us. He had no doubt in us." So end of the quotes for both of Barnes and Robertson. They had faith in their guy. I think that's the big thing. They want to run through a wall for these coaches, and that's what's important. Losing respected corner like Glenn could have derailed most teams, but not this team so far. We aren't just like okay losing him at this point. We are continuing to thrive as a unit without him. Shepard is a guy who didn't necessarily even want a coaching job in the first place. He just wanted to be involved with the players and be involved with the team, and being a coach is just how it happened. He's a selfless guy. He gave Robertson his game ball back. I love the energy this guy puts off on the sideline and in the locker room. I love the blitz packages he's been putting together, and I love that he still has this unit as like one tight knit unit. It's really, really exciting to see, and it's cool to know that our next guy up, even in the coaching staff, is still doing this job. I think it really embodies what we're going through right now. So let me know what you guys think. I think that was an absolutely awesome performance, and hopefully we continue to see stuff like that. That's going to take us to Taylor Decker. Decker is one of our key guys on the O-line and has been a Lion since 2016 when the Lions took him in the first round. Decker was back on the field after a 2-game absence for the Monday win over Tampa Bay, and the Detroit Lions left tackle wasn't happy with the way that things went. Not great is what Decker said when asked by the Free Press on how he felt after the game. He's been dealing with that shoulder injury, right? Decker was held out of games against the Bengals and Kansas City to rest the shoulder injury he's been dealing with since the beginning of the season. This was a lot of risk for the Lions to be rushing Decker back to a game before the bye week. The 32-year-old has been dealing with the same shoulder ailment since even training camp, having to skip practices while nursing it. In fact, he actually has only participated in 3 of the 18 practices since the Lions began issuing an injury report with the start of the season. He unexpectedly then returned to practice on Thursday and returned to action on Sunday, playing a season high of 68 offensive snaps. As it's almost always the case, though, Decker was excellent at every single one of his snaps. So then what's the issue? If he's still dealing with injury, but he's able to play on it in excellent style, what's the issue? Well, he was a clear upgrade over Giovanni Manu and Dan Skipper, who started in his place for weeks 5 and 6. Decker was a 66.8 grade as of now, while Decker has a while Skipper has a 56 grade and Manu has a 43.5 grade. So obviously an upgrade. But at the same time, the Lions have to have a long-term vision when making decisions like this on an older guy. Decker is one of the toughest players in the league, no doubt, and he takes a lot of contact every week. He is in his 10th year in the NFL and playing such a physical style of football. Decker is constantly at a risk of injury. That's the issue with starting him like that. The fact is his discomfort returned immediately after playing a game is not a good sign for the rest of the season. It's showing his age is starting to catch up with him, and he can't continue to play on a high level like that every single week. So it might be time to start saving him for the later parts, but then what if they lose game in the middle and we can't even make it to the postseason, right? It's a big question to ask. We have mentioned Francis Mauigoa from Miami on the show once before, saying he'd be a great replacement for getting the replacement for the older Decker. This is something that the front office needs to start considering now for this upcoming draft. Decker is older by NFL standards, and we should start giving him, or that shoulder could start giving out on him at any point now. It really needs to be something we are considering. Now, a name we haven't mentioned on this show before is starting Utah tackle Spencer Fano. Now, if you've been watching college football, you know who this guy is. In the 2024 season, he played 770 snaps, only allowing 14 pressures and 1 sack, and is currently the highest graded tackle in the country by Pro Football Focus. The only issue with him is being where we're going to pick in the draft. He is projected to be right now a top 15, if not a top 10 pick if he continues to play how he's playing in the upcoming draft. So there's a good chance we don't even get to this guy, but it's worth considering. We need to start thinking of another left tackle or even a right tackle, depending on where Penei Sewell moves, to back up Decker, because our backup guys now are fine. They're serviceable, obviously, but if we want another guy at the same level as Decker, we need to consider the future and the fact that he won't be around forever, right? So just something to consider. I love having Decker back, obviously. This bye week is going to help his shoulder, but we don't want to rush anything, and we want to make sure we have him for that postseason, because for some reason, if we were to win something, I'd want him to be on the team that wins it, just because he's been with us so long. Just saying. That's going to take us to viewer comments. Let me know what you guys think right now about Decker and his position and what the best plan of action would be for him and a guy with his position. Our first comment here is going to be Brent DeWitt, who says, not surprised by Montgomery's lack of production. Johnny Morton kept running him at Vita Vea. True. MVPs were Gibbs and Shep, who had an excellent game plan. Yeah, I think that goes back to what we were saying. Gibbs, like his big run in his second touchdown, really did make this offensive unit look better than they were overall playing. Gibbs was awesome that night. That was finally his big game we've been waiting for. And I totally agree with you. Shepard, I think just his style of play, his confidence as being a one-year coach, and his connection with his players have been overall outstanding to look at. And it makes me really happy as a fan, knowing we have a guy that players want to run through a wall for on defense as well as offense, right? So that's awesome. Thank you so much for your comment, Brent DeWitt. And then Superman24 says, the culture and coaching really showed in this game. How can you not want to go to battle for Dan Campbell and his staff? Exactly. Unfortunately, some of those guys on the Legion of Whom Great name, by the way. Will get noticed and pulled off the practice squad for another team's 53-man roster once we get healthy. Gibbs is the lead back, and I'm thinking we'll get 70% of the carries moving forward. Demo will get the goal line carries and maybe a snap or two here and there. It's obvious what is going on. JMO is doing what he needs to do to win. Okay. He may not like it, but he is doing it. He has 28 million reasons per year to keep on being a decoy and block his ass off. Okay, good point. And he will get his. Plus, who cares? We are winning. Newsflash, the Lions do not care about your fantasy team. By the way, this is going to be the first season in the career of Mike Evans where he does not get 1,000 yards receiving. Incredible career. So let's break that down. Always love the comments. Gives me a lot to talk about. Thank you, Superman. Yeah, Gibbs obviously going to get more of those snaps. I think it's worth noting Demont is really great when we give him the snaps, but Gibbs is obviously better in open space, and I'm sure that will start to happen. Yeah, I think our defense, the backup guys did super well, but you're right. The Legion of Whom, they are going to end up going to different teams because we can't pay all of those guys and we can't all bring them on. But regardless, awesome performance. I hope they end up going and getting starting roles wherever they end up going. For JMO, yeah, I get it. 28 million reasons a year. Right. He'll get his. I know they don't care about fantasy. I just have fantasy as one of our things to put in because I think it's worth noting for people who do play fantasy football. And I know the Lions don't care about my team, but they should care about getting the guy who is getting paid that much the ball more, especially when Goff thinks the passing offense wasn't where it needed to be. I think that is part of it. And yeah, JMO's bummed, but again, if you're getting $28 million a year to play football, I wouldn't be too upset about a game with no catches. I think, like you said, he will get his. We're just going to have to wait and see. And Mike Evans, Mike Evans' first year, probably he's not going to get his 1,000 yards. That is insane to me. At least he beat, or did he beat or did he tie with Jerry Rice? Regardless, insane stat, and he did have an insane career, so good for him. Unfortunate for him, but hopefully he rests and takes care of whatever's ailing him, and he can come back next season if he wants to and go crazy again. With that being said, we're out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this part of the video, tell me right now what you guys think about Taylor Decker and what the long-term solution should be. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you made it to this video. Hit the bell so you never miss a single video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.